Alright guys, so today I have an amazing trick to show you all, and this is what it looks like. So we can actually borrow a deck from a spectator and ask them to shuffle it as much as they wish. But you guys can see here that all the cards are different and shuffled, and this, can be a borrowed deck of cards. So once the cards have been shuffled, I'm simply going to place the deck here on the table and have the spectator cut 3 piles. So have them cut about a third off the top like this, place it here, and then we'll take another third and place it over here. They can cut wherever they like, as long as we have 3 roughly equal piles here. So I'm gonna turn around in a minute, but I'm gonna explain what I want you to do, because I'm gonna have you select a card in a very fair procedure. I'm just gonna have you pick up any of these 3 piles and take a look at the bottom card of that pile, and that will be your selected card. So once you're remembering the card, just place the pile back down, and then take the other 2 piles that you did not touch, and you're gonna switch the order around. The reason for that is so that when I turn back around, I don't wanna be able to tell which pile you picked up and which pile was moved. So if you basically move all the piles around, it'll be impossible for me to tell which pile you were looking at, right? Okay, so I'm gonna turn around, and the spectator will do exactly what I just said. So they can pick up any of these 3 piles, completely free choice, and look at the bottom card and just remember it, okay? So you can believe me, my head is turned, I'm not looking at all. So once they're remembering the card, they'll place the pile back down and take the other 2 piles that they did not touch and switch the order around. So remember, the magician's back is turned, they are not looking at anything. So I would now turn back around for the first time. I truly was not looking and I did not see anything that was happening. We'll simply gather the cards back up like this. And we can actually further shuffle the cards even more. So I'll take half the cards for myself, and I'll actually give the spectator half the cards as well. So they can go ahead and mix up the cards as much as they wish. I'll mix up my pile, they can mix up their pile, and we can even exchange piles if we so wish. We can shuffle each other's piles as much as we like, and then we'll take the 2 piles back and we'll give them a nice riffle shuffle together. We can give them another riffle shuffle. Truly does not matter. We can cut the cards as many times as the spectator wants. They can give it one more riffle shuffle too. It really does not matter. Okay, so once the cards have been shuffled, I'm just going to spread them out on the table here, and you can clearly see, your card is somewhere lost in the middle of this deck. There's no possible way I can know what your card is or where your card is, but I'm going to turn away in a second because I would like you to, look for your card and remember where it is. Because what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to close my eyes, and I know you guys can't see my face in this camera angle, but trust me when I say that my eyes will be closed during this part of the trick, because what I'm going to do is essentially hover my finger over the spread like this, and whenever I'm getting close to your card, I want you to think the word stop. Don't say it out loud, just think the word stop in your head. And I promise I'm gonna keep my eyes closed. I'm just gonna go by, my sense. I'm gonna try to sense where you're telling me to stop, okay? So I promise my eyes are closed, I'm not looking at all. I'm simply gonna hover my finger, and you are going to think the word stop somewhere, okay? Or wherever, your card is. Okay, so I was sensing something around this quadrant. I feel like maybe none of these cards here, so I'm gonna eliminate these. Am I right in saying it's one of these? Okay, cool. So I'm gonna close my eyes once again, and once again, just think the word stop. My eyes are closed, okay. Ooh, okay, I think I passed it. It was one of these first few here, I feel like. So none of these, right? I don't think it was any of these. Okay, so I'm gonna try this one more time. Just think the word stop, okay? Oh, okay. I'm getting sense it was around here. One of these last few ones, I think. Okay, hold on. I don't think it was this one either. I think it was one of these 3. So I'm gonna do one last time. I'm gonna hover my finger over the cards. Just think the word stop on your card, okay? Okay. Was your card the Queen of Hearts? I hope it was. My eyes were genuinely closed. I wasn't looking at anything. And yeah, that's the trick. Seems impossible, right? So if you would like to learn how this is done, be sure to stick around for the tutorial. Alright guys, so here's the tutorial for the trick that you just saw. So this is a really cool principle of using a key card that I haven't seen used much before, but I think this is an incredibly cool way to use a key card. This trick also involves using one of my favorite sleight of hand moves in all of Magic, so I will show you that as well. But yeah, this trick uses a completely borrowed, shuffled deck of cards. So there's no setup required at all. You can do this with any deck of cards. So I'll explain the principle of this trick and how it works. So essentially you are using a key card to get knowledge of the selected card, because remember, there's only 3 options of cards they can pick. They can either pick the bottom card of this pile, or this pile. So those are your 3 options. The deck can truly be shuffled beforehand, so you're not forcing these cards in any way, and these 3 cards can truly be a free choice of the spectator based on the shuffle that they do. However, you are going to know what one of them is because you're simply going to peek at the bottom card before you actually let the spectator cut the 3 piles, and this will be your key card. And a very easy way to peek this is when the spectator finishes shuffling, they'll hand the deck back to you and you can simply rotate the deck like this, and as you rotate, you're just going to glance at the bottom card. And this is a very natural gesture. You just say, all right, so you just shuffled the deck here and let's go ahead and start the trick. And there you go. I've just very naturally peeked the bottom card. So once the deck is on the table, you're just going to instruct the spectator to cut 1/3 of the cards over and then to cut another 1/3 of the cards over here. So at this point, all you need to remember is that the King of Diamonds is your key card. Okay, so here's the principle of how it works. They have a completely free choice to choose the bottom card of any 3 of these piles. Let's say, for example, they remember this bottom card, which in this case is actually going to be your key card. And then you tell them to take the other 2 piles that they didn't choose and switch the order around like this. Now the magician turns back around, and this is all you're going to do. You're going to stack the piles on top of each other. Pile 1 on top of 2 on top of 3. And all you're going to do is get a break between piles 2 and 3. So you're going to stack 1 on top of 2 on top of 3. And before I place these piles on top, I'm going to side jog this one to the right, so that when I pick these up, I can very easily catch a pinky break by pushing up on the bottom like this and getting my pinky in there. So now I have a separated break between piles 2 and 3. So now I have a break right about here. What I'm going to do is cut about half the cards off for myself. So I'm just going to spread about half the cards and drop these on the table for myself. And then I'm going to hand the rest of the deck over to the spectator so that they can shuffle these cards. And this is where I'm going to get the knowledge of which card they selected. This is using one of my favorite utility moves in all of Magic, which is this very, very sneaky little peek. I have a pinky break right here between these piles, and all I'm going to do is grip the left edge of the pile with my thumb and middle finger and simply pivot the entire pile along my fingers, and I'm going to maintain the pinky inside the entire time. And what this will allow me to do is it will allow me to glance at both the bottom card as well as the card right next to my pinky break. So there's essentially 2 options that will happen, and this will give you the information of which card they selected. So in this case, as you can see, my key card, the King of Diamonds, is nowhere to be found. So if this happens, if I look and I see that these are just 2 random cards and my King of Diamonds is not in here, that means the card that they looked at is the King of Diamonds. So I just give this to them and I already know that their card is the King of Diamonds. And then the other possibility is, what if you see your key card inside of this pile? So it doesn't matter if the key card is this card by the break or the card on the bottom. Basically, if you glance and you see that one of the 2 cards is your key card, then that means their selection is going to be the random card in this pile that is not the key card. So hopefully that makes sense. In this case, if I were to look and see this, I see the King of Diamonds, so I immediately know that this card is actually going to be their selection, the 4 of Diamonds. And then same thing goes for if the key card was on the bottom. I'm just going to get a random break in here. So if I were to do this and peek this and see the King of Diamonds here and this card here, I know that the King of Diamonds is here, so that means their selection is going to be this card over here, the other card that I'm peeking at, the 5 of Spades. And then I just quickly glance that and I set the pile down, and now the spectator can shuffle and I know that their card is the 5 of Spades. Try this out for yourself. It really does work every single time. I think it's a genius principle. So once you know the knowledge of their card, in this case, let's just do the original example. So their card was in here and then I peeked these 2 cards. which were completely random cards, I know that if they're random cards, then that means the key card was their selection. So now the spectator shuffles this, and then I can shuffle this, and I already know that the king of diamonds is going to be their selection. So I basically can shuffle the cards as many times as I wish. It truly doesn't matter what the order of the cards are. And then at this point, you can really do whatever trick you'd like. The way I chose to end the trick in the performance was I spread the cards out like this, and I just quickly glance as I spread through the cards. I just sort of am looking out for their cards. So I'm looking for the king of diamonds, king of diamonds, king of diamonds, king of diamonds, boom. So here it is. Once I see the card, I can look away. I don't have to look back at the deck at all. I can close my eyes at this point, and I can just hover my finger over and sort of estimate where their card is, and then kind of drop my hand down. I can open my eyes during this part of the trick when I'm sort of eliminating the cards, just making sure I got it right. But then I can close my eyes again and just keep estimating, you know, roughly where their card is, and just kind of try to stop roughly there. And then if you do by any chance stop directly on it, you could open your eyes and just say, this is your card. You can really improvise anything you'd like to at this point. The whole point is that you already know what card they selected, so you can truly end the trick in any way you'd like. It's completely up to you. But yeah, that is essentially how the trick works. I think it's a really cool principle of using these 3 piles and a key card. I think it's a genius idea. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this as well. Let me know if you guys like the trick and if it works. See you guys next time. Bye.